Three, two, one. For the week ending on August 10th, Philadelphia had a total record of 5-7, with the Phillies going 2-5, losing all three series. The Union going 1-0 with a 5-1 win. The Fusion going 1-1 with a MAP 5 win and a MAP 5 loss. The Eagles going 0-1 with a 10-27 loss, and the Soul winning their only game this week, 48-41. So much to talk about as always, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy your ride here on the Orange Line.
He had high hopes. He had high hopes.
Clap your hands, everybody, for Philadelphia.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Orange Line, your weekly source of Philly sports, the city's first and only 8for8 sports podcast. I'm your host, Docter, PhD, here to break down some of the biggest and most important moments from the AFL, MLB, MLS, NBA, NFL, NHL, NLL, and OWL, all as it pertains to the city of brotherly love. And how do we do that? Well, we start where we left off last week. We work our way up from the least amount of news to the most amount of news. And then we ended off with some predictions and what's going to be happening next week. So where did we end last week? Well, it was with your now contenders for Arena Bowl 32, the Philadelphia Soul. We are just getting underway. I'm very, very, very excited. But let's talk about last week. Because we came in to the game with a 36-point lead in the aggregate score, which meant that if the Washington Valor were, really going to be the team to go to the Arena Bowl, they would have to score at least 36 more points than us, which is good that they didn't. 48-41 for the win. Absolutely. Great job by the Soul. Darius Prince kept his touchdown streak alive. He has 17 games straight with a touchdown, which is fantastic. He had 3 on the day for this game, which is absolutely great news. The defense was also really, really good, like they have been in the past couple of weeks, being able to put a lot of pressure on Washington's dual threat quarterback. We had 2 interceptions in the game, 5 sacks, which is a season high, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that the defense is carrying a lot of momentum going into the Arena Bowl. So this is all very, very good news. Taking down the defending champs, Washington Valor. Sorry, it's not your year. It's time for the Philadelphia Soul to get back into that championship winning team, those winning ways. I don't know. But in other news, on Monday, James Romaine, was awarded the Defensive Back of the Year. Again, he was defending his title from last year, the 2018 season. Wins it again this year, so still incredibly good defensively in the backfield. And on Thursday, Clint Dalzell, our great head coach, ended up winning Head Coach of the Year, so congratulations to him. I know he's won it, I think, 2 other times in 2015 and 16, but it's nice that he's getting recognized for the great job that he has done so far this year. And on Friday, it was also announced that James Romaine was given the 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, not just the defensive back, but overall defense. He is the best that all of the AFL has seen defensively. So great job there to James and the rest of the Soul. I'm really excited for this Arena Bowl. I won a championship back in Philly, and I think the Soul have a really good chance of doing that. Also, 7 players were announced to the AFL All-Arena team. There were 3 that were announced for the first team, and the other 4 were announced for the second team. So congratulations to them. That is fantastic news. But let's see what else is going on throughout Philadelphia. The Sixers, they have a little bit of news going on. They announced on Monday this past week their preseason schedule. They're all going to be played in about the beginning to mid time of October. That's going to be the 8th, 11th, 13th, 15th, and 18th. I can't really remember the teams that were playing, but it's preseason. It really doesn't matter too much. Toying around with some systems and lineups and whatnot. So if you really care about the preseason, save those dates. I'm going to make sure that I remember them, watch those games, and let you know about all the news that is coming up with them. Also on Thursday, the Sixers signed Isaiah Miles, who I think is a point guard maybe? I don't know. I probably should have looked that up. But he played ball in Europe for a handful of years, apparently did really well over there. But the coolest thing, I think, is that he played college at St. Joseph's. So he's coming back to Philly. Hooray! I like it when the people that played in Philly originally, they leave a little bit. They're like, this place sucks. And then they come back to Philly, and it's like, yeah, this is the place to be. But that is it for the 76ers, so let's talk about the Eagles a little bit, why don't we? Their preseason opened up this past week on Thursday, and it was with a loss. It's the preseason, so it's not that big of a deal. It didn't really tell me much, if I'm going to be honest, about the whole situation. None of the starters played, which is completely fine. Plus, did you see Nate Sudfeld? I don't know. The dude ended up getting a late hit, broke his arm. Thank God that was not Carson Wentz. I would have been... I don't know how I would have reacted if that was Carson Wentz that got hurt in a preseason game. I don't know if I would have been happy because I was like, yeah, I was right. This guy, gets hurt. Or sad because then I go, oh boy, the Eagles season is probably done. But yeah, so thankfully no one, not to belittle Nate, but no one very important to this team got hurt, and that's good. Also, Marquand Mitchell ended up getting the only touchdown on the day on a 75-yard reception. It was his only reception of the game, so good job to Marquand. That's very fun. And then throughout the rest of the week, from training camp and whatnot, the things that I've heard is that Miles Sanders is looking to be a running back who's on a different level than a lot of other people. Derek Barnett is starting practicing, which is very nice. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside looks like he has a lot of promise as a wide receiver. And, like I said, a lot of people are talking about no starters in the preseason. I really don't care. I want these guys to be healthy. Plus, they're saying that they're getting a lot of work in during practices, so I'm not too worried about it. Not too worried at all. In terms of other teams, the Flyers just really haven't had too much to work with either. The World Junior Summer Showcase comes to an end. And so just some of the stat lines to go over. Joel Farabee had 3 goals and 2 assists in 4 games, I should say. He had 5 points in total. And he's going to end up going to his first NHL training camp this season with the Flyers, which is really nice. Hopefully he makes an impact over there, gets a good impression, maybe go to the AHL. Who knows? Cam York also did pretty good. He had a goal and 2 assists in 5 games. From what I read, he was a lot better defensively off the puck and was able to move around and make his presence really well known. Plus, he was just really good at being that kind of offensive defenseman, getting shots on goal, jumping into the power play, which is really nice to hear. Bobby Brink, the man with the coolest name at this entire showcase, didn't really sparkle that much. He had 1 assist in 5 games played. That was on a Cam York goal, so that's pretty cool. But he does have a lot to work on from what I've read. And he just didn't really get that time to shine because he was playing with Joel Farabee and Cam York and some of these other bigger prospects that are out there that he kind of just faded a little bit into the background. Adam Ginning for Sweden had 2 goals in his 5 games played, and everything I read said that he should be a guy who is pretty much like a shoo-in to make the Sweden national juniors team, which is really nice. I don't know how well that translates to playing in the AHL or NHL, but I hear that he is a very good defensive prospect coming up. Very, very, very nice to hear. Oops. I'm messing things up a little bit, but let's talk about the Wings now because they have they've made some more moves. Last week I talked about them signing who is it? Ian Lord. The Lord comes back to Philadelphia, which is really nice. But we ended up signing 3 more players this week by the names of Corey Vitarelli, who's a forward, Daryl Ward, who's a transitional player, and Brandon Miller, who is a goalie. Which on the surface is like, all right, they're just filling out the roster. That's pretty cool. But the general manager, Paul Day, ended up saying that the goal for all of these moves was to have like a winning veteran kind of presence onto the team, get that experience, knowledge, given to some of the younger kids that are playing for this team, and that's a lot of what these guys are. Brandon Miller has been in the league for a long time, so he can be a mentor to Zach Higgins, who is the goalie that we just brought in, who's kind of young, but really trying to figure out his starting life. And Daryl Ward, who is a former football player, played in the CFL. Looks like he has a really bright future playing lacrosse, where he used to play in, I think, pro league somewhere else. But he looks like he's going to have a really bright future. And Corey Vitarelli, who is a really physical presence on offense, and he's had that winning experience before, so he's going to be able to help out some of these guys like our boy Matt Rambo. Hopefully give him a little bit experience, a little bit of knowledge, and hopefully this team can start progressing into one of those winning teams that people like to talk about so much. I know I do. But the main goal for that, he said, was to make the team a bit more physical, have that veteran and winning experience, and be able to transition this team into the bright future that it really should have. We have some of the best rookies from last season still on our team, so that is a very, very good sign. As for the Phillies, though, didn't have that great of a week. It's been very frustrating to be a Phillies fan for the past few weeks. They have not been doing a good job of things lately. But we start this week off with a series-deciding game against the White Sox, where, I don't know. Smiley didn't make me smiley this time. He ends up going giving up 5 in the second inning. And the takeaway I had from this game is this team doesn't play well from behind. I mean, we like to have the lead, obviously. Every team likes to have the lead. But when we don't have the lead, it's kind of like we shut down, unless they decide to score 1,000,000 runs, and it's like, all right, well, we're going to score 1,000,000 runs too, but 5 less, and we're still going to lose. We did get 5 runs of offense in this one. We lose 5-10, which, 5 runs is, I think it's pretty good, but realistically, when you're giving up 10, it's not that great. Corey Dickerson, though, heating up, ended up having a 3 RBI day, getting a home run in there as well. Really, really nice job from him. But in this game, the Phillies end up leaving 5 on. They are 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and that's kind of a theme for this week, but we'll go over that as it continues. On Monday, we start a West Coast road trip, which took place at first in Arizona with a Vinny Velo's start. He ends up going 7, which is pretty good. Gave up a few home runs, which gave up some runs. You hate to see it. But we had the offense there. 7-3 is the final score. Kingery ends up getting a home run in his return home to Arizona. That's really cool. But here's the problem. We went 5 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Only 7 runs off of that, and we had 19 people in scoring position in that game. Not a good sign. And on Tuesday, we lose the game 4-8, and we go 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. And the only 2 runs that were scored off of that were by Adam Hazley, which is very nice. And I want you to remember that fact, that Adam Hazley got 2 hits, that scored 2 runs, and that is a very good thing for the Phillies. Arrieta ends up going 5 in this game, but you can just tell. You can tell he's not 100%. He's not throwing the way that Jake Arrieta we're used to seeing. So I really just wish he would, have gone and sat for a little while. Take some rest, take some time off. Eflin can pitch for you. We got these 2 new guys; they can pitch. I would rather him healthy. Dickerson, though, had a leadoff home run, so that's pretty cool. Gave us some runs. Another home run from the new guy. Nice. Wednesday, we ended up going down as well, 1-6. Boo. So a hot start to the series ends up not really doing much for us. Vargas ends up going 5 in this game, and the problem is, like, we give too much time to the bullpen. We give too much time to all of the pitchers that are supposed to be in for relief, and they just really can't get the job done. They're probably our weakest point right now, and our starting pitching still isn't good, but they're somehow much worse. So they end up kind of shitting the bed a little bit. That's the phrase I'll use. Harper ends up hitting a home run, his 20th. He now has 74 RBIs. That's really cool. Only over 3 with runners in scoring position, though, but we didn't really hit that much. Wasn't too offensively effective in Wednesday's game. On Thursday, it was the Battle of the Aces, though, as we moved to San Francisco. It was Nola versus Bumgarner, and unfortunately, it wasn't a classic Aaron Nola game. He only goes 5 innings, is responsible for 3 earned runs in the third, which kind of just put us away very early into the game. We only get one hit off of Madison Bumgarner. There were 2 walks, I believe, only 3 base runners all game, so that's very upsetting. Also, before this game, it was announced that Jay Bruce was coming back from the injured list, so to make room for him on the team, the Phillies decided to send Adam Hazley to the minor leagues and have Jay Bruce play in the field. We took a hot bat off of the team, didn't even put him on the bench, and we put him in the minor leagues. So, way to, stall his momentum there. That's great. Moving into Thursday, though, we end up getting a win in San Fran, a 9-6 win, and even though the starting pitching kind of seemed to be mediocre at best, we did get an okay game. Drew Smiley goes 5 2/3. He's responsible for 4 runs, but he ended up giving up all 6. There are 3 home runs for that, so make with that information as you will. I don't think home runs are the worst. I mean, it's I just feel like hitting around and giving up runs that way, letting up a million hits is a lot worse than, like, they could have just had a read on a ball and boom, it's gone. I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion. But Harper ends up hitting 2 runs. He's at 22 now. Ends up having 4 RBIs for the rest of the day. Dickerson, 3 more RBIs. The dude's handling business. Love it. Also, Jay Bruce got hurt in that first game back. So welcome back, Hazley. It's really nice to see you. It just really makes me question why you even make the move in the first place. 3 for 7 runners in scoring position in this game. Still not getting it done. Then Saturday, the Phillies just are put into a bad position. They have to go up against a great pitching day for this guy on San Francisco who has the hardest name possible. I was going to write it down, but I was like, I'm never going to remember how to even say this guy's name. So some dude on San Fran had a really good pitching day against us. The only highlight is that Dickerson hit another home run. It's his 9th RBI of the week. So he's doing a pretty good job for just joining the team not too long ago. Also, Vince back on the mound gives up 3 on 2 home runs, so 2 very well hit balls. Didn't pitch that bad, though. Still not what we want to see from the Phillies. Very upsetting. But yeah, we can't connect for some reason when we have runners in scoring position, and that's something that literally killed us this week. We had so much opportunity to bank off of what was already set, and nothing. Very disappointing from this team. The Fusion, though, have been, I'll say, pretty exciting to watch, actually. They've been really, really fun. Lots of map 5s, 2 last week, 2 again this week. But it started off on Sunday. We got a hot start taking map 1 pretty convincingly, actually. There was a back and forth, and we did give up point number 1 to Toronto. But we kind of fought back pretty hard, outplayed them very well, and then we just got stuffed while we were attacking. We came into map 2 and map 3 where we were the ones setting the pace, attacking first, having all of that time bank, and we got stuffed. I don't know what it is, but it was rough. I do have an idea, but we'll get to it. And then we ended up saving the match with a great run on Havana again, the map that we ended up getting that 6-3 win on just last week with an insane overtime run. So we had another great run where they actually attacked first. We were able to follow their pace and do it a bit better than them. So good job on that. It was a nail-biter of map 5 afterwards, but the job got done. It was very close. Thankfully, we got another win. So at this point in the week, I believe we are 14-11, which is pretty good for our positioning. I believe at this point we were 8th in the league, so we are in that spot to have a play-in game for the playoffs, get to the playoffs, hopefully get to grand finals. Only note that I had from this game specifically, this match specifically, is that Carpe's Widow just seems to be, it has to be warmed up before he can actually play. He seems like he's starting a lot of games off with Reaper, which will be doing well, but when his Widow is cool, when it's not warmed up, when it's not prepared, it ends up looking a little sloppy. But when it comes to late match, he ends up getting a lot of very, very key shots with Widow. So that's the only thing I noticed from that match. On Thursday, we started off week 3 with another map 5 situation. And I remember this started with everyone before the match even happening going, there's no way that Philly should lose this. There's no way that Philly should lose this. Thanks for all the foreshadowing, by the way. We were playing Paris Eternal, who are a team that is at the bottom of the table. They had a 0.3% chance of winning and moving into, they have a 0.3% chance, I should say, to get into the playoffs, which means they would have to win out and play incredibly, and we're almost guaranteed to have a spot in the playoffs. It's not fully guaranteed yet, but it is close. Anyway, as expected, we kind of outplayed them for the first 2 maps. A nice 2-1 and a 2-1 on both map 1 and map 2. Very nice. Then we exit halftime and kind of just get turned around on. We lose lots of critical fights that could have turned the tide of getting some points and stopping some points on Paris's behalf, which sucked. Then we ended up going into map 3, which was really taken over by one Shadowburn off of Paris Eternal. He is a player that used to play for the Fusion, has a really good Pharah, and this just happens to be one of those maps that Pharah is very, very good on. So he was able to outplay us a little bit, get a lot of damage, and unfortunately we lose map 5, 1-2. Moving us to 14-12, still in a good position to make the playoffs, but it's not guaranteed just yet, unfortunately. And last but not least, we have the Philadelphia Union. The Beast in the East was on full display this weekend. Starting on Sunday, had a big match against DC United. Needed this win, a very big win, to put the Beast back on top of the East. And Bedoya opens it up 3 minutes in with a very nice goal that hits post, rolls in. Nice job from Bedoya. Ends up having a very loud message after the goal, celebrating with his buddies and going out and saying that gun control needs to be handled a little bit better. Yells at Congress. Good for him. I respect the man for having his morals and trying to use his platform to do something about it. Very nice. Fabian also had 2 goals this game. I was going to say Przblico, but we all know Shabilko ends up getting back into action, getting another goal. He is leading the team with 10 right now. Very nice. And Fafa Pico ends up getting a goal in this game. 5-1. Very nice job. It did help that the DC United ended up getting a red card in about the 40th minute, which put us into the second half at a man advantage and having a lot to help us end up winning this game. But it brings us back on top. We're now first place once again, leading by 3 points. Very, very nice job. Nice enough to get Jim Curtin, the Coach of the Week honors for the MLS, and Marco Fabian and Alejandro Bedoya ends up getting named to the MLS Team of the Week with Bedoya on the bench. But very, very nice stuff coming out of the Union recently. They have been the highlights of some of the past few weeks. Very good to see. But for right now, I guess we can focus on what is happening later in the week. Lots of stuff, actually. Lots of sports to go on, so let's break it down. The Phillies have their their series ender with San Francisco today, Sunday. And then going Tuesday to Thursday, they're going to be playing the Chicago Cubs at home. And then Friday to Saturday and Sunday, we have a series against the San Diego Padres. Very nice to see that Manny Machado matchup once again. The Fusion, they have 2 matches this week. They have the end of stage week 3, in stage 4 versus the Vancouver Titans, a very tough game. And then Saturday we play the Seoul Dynasty, another team who is going to give us a run for our money. The Seoul have their final game of the season today. It is going to be Sunday. It's going to be at Albany, and it's going to be versus the Empire in the 32nd Arena Bowl. Very fun. The Union have 2 games this week. One is on Sunday. It's against Houston at home. And Saturday, we're also going to be playing the Chicago Fire in Chicago. So, big Chicago week this week. And the Eagles have a game this week, week 2 of preseason. It's going to be at Jacksonville on Thursday. So all of those things are things that you can look forward to, but is there anything that I think you should specifically look forward to? Absolutely. It's the Docter PhD picks of the week. This first one is going to be, once again, the Philadelphia Soul. I know I like to mix this up and do 3 picks where 2 of them are Philadelphia sports related and one of them is just a random one. I like to change it up a little bit, but I got to give it to the Soul. Let's get this championship. Let's bring some gold back to Philadelphia. We've made it to the big game. We're virtually even with this team, omitting that last game where pretty much no one played. And the biggest thing is that their offense is a powerhouse, but our defense has been insane for the past couple of weeks. So who is going to win this game? Got to find out. The second pick this week is going to be the Philadelphia Fusion. They face a win and in situation. Just got to win one more match in these last 2. These are the last 2 matches of Stage 4 for Philadelphia. It's going to be a hard-fought one, though. 2 tough teams, so we just need one win. Hopefully we can get one over on some of these really good teams, really prove that we should be in grand finals in Philadelphia. If you haven't bought your tickets yet, you should do it, because I would love to see you there. And the third pick this week is WWE SummerSlam is happening on Sunday, and it is going to be incredible. There are going to be some matches like my boy Finn Balor taking on the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Goldberg, if you remember Goldberg from your childhood, he is coming back for another match against Dolph Ziggler. Going to be a very fun time. Plus, Philadelphia's own Drew Gulak is going to defend his WWE Cruiserweight title, and it is going to be a great time. So those are the 3 things that I say you can look forward to this week. If you want to, you can follow me on social media. That's going to be at Docter PhD, DocterPhD. You can follow the podcast too, at Orange Line Pod, spelled exactly the way you think. Or also on Facebook, the Orange Line Podcast. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, you can watch it on YouTube. Just search the Orange Line Podcast. And we're also on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, any other place you can find your podcast. So with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you're excited about for the weeks coming up. I am very excited for today, and you should be too. So I will let you get to it, and I will see you next time.